What's up, CJ? What's happening? It's. Well, I'll get into that. Hold on a second.
No, I didn't say that word. No, I didn't do that.
Whoa. Anyways, geez, it's 3 in the morning where I am. At least right now in this very moment. Who knows where you are when you're watching this? The nature of disjointed content in the modern era. But yeah, I don't know if you, I don't know your life. You don't really know mine either, but I guess we're trying to communicate anyways with each other. Have you ever had jet lag? Have you ever, like, not done a very good job of combating it? Because, I have varying levels of success. I think anybody um, doing some YouTube videos is familiar with a late night or two. So you know that feeling that you've sort of separated from the sun, from the circadian rhythm. You know that feeling. And one of my favorite things to do, I guess, during life and just during the day is to get some work done, wake up and do stuff, and then take a nap. Lay down for a while, sort of recharge, and get ready for the next phase. So you can have a nice evening. Especially if I need to make stuff or produce, then that's usually a pretty good rhythm. You stop, take a break, maybe lay down for an hour, and then that gives you the energy, that gives you the power to keep going. Going a bunch longer, right? But it doesn't work very well if you have jet lag. Then you fall asleep for hours, like it's nighttime, like you were really trying to go to sleep for real, and then you wake up and it's like 3 in the morning or something. Feel disoriented. I don't know if showing you this video from me in consumer life is also helping you get that disoriented feeling, because it's like a complete non sequitur. But for those of you that haven't been to American retail, well, this is what it's like. This is what it's like. What's up, Paige Robinson? I should also get to sleep, but now I'm all discombobulated. I'm hungry. I gotta eat something. Maybe go watch some scripted content after this. But still, like, I have this show going on, and I think I'm setting up good expectations of not knowing when it's gonna happen or what it's gonna be about or any of those kind of things. So, you know, just just throwing the show out here. I just wanted to, I don't need to make excuses for you guys, but I did want to look at these images. This is from yesterday, 2 days ago. Um, I think almost having this motion involved in it makes it more obvious that, right? How could this possibly be anything but artificially induced white streaks in the sky? There's no way you could possibly. There's a good shot. There's no. There's no possibility of those being naturally forming clouds. Um, and I think I really have noticed it here in Los Angeles. It's either, at least in recent times, it's either nothing at all or you have these sort of happy, fancy, flyny clouds. And it goes back and forth, it seems, from nothing to this, and then back to nothing, and then maybe some more of this. Right, if I jump over here, well, if I jump way over here, where's my? So that's the trouble with being insomniac and jet lagged and all those things combined. What's up, prepared mind? I remember you. You remember me. So there we accomplished something. I get that feeling at least. I believe this is from the same day. But what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say, oh, what's up, Scott Rogers? Yeah, people show up. People, the community just forms whether you're jet lagged or not. Community wants to form. I can feel that, and I want to support that. I mean, but in the end, I don't know. I don't know what else I can do here other than just sort of point it out and document the situation, the way it's the way it's looking to me, and just being here for a couple days. Yeah, Scott Rogers. I wanted to get into the light because the light has been intermittent, but as soon as I got back, the light was on, and I wanted to get you some hot fresh images from the light, um, because the light is back on, and it's just sort of changing in time. So, um, just to sort of track for you guys. Here's from yesterday. I really am losing track of all sort of rhythm and time, but that's maybe okay. Yeah, from 2 days ago. And interesting, I'm just noticing a sort of four pointer up and downer, side to sider, little burn reflection there. I don't think I remember that per se. I think it's the same sun that I've always looked at my whole life, probably. Right, but either we were getting nothing, we were getting zero, or it was this sort of milky, hazy, leftover feeling. And we really did go. We went many days without any sort of content up there in the sky. And now this is what we've got. Fascinating. You be the judge.
You be the judge.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody. But I don't think there's any debate here, right? That is definitely like a straight line, and you see how the rest of this can kind of just dissipate into this. How that's maybe the same sort of material. And right, at this point I'm not even sure what kind of point I'm trying to prove here. Oh man, I lost my warning bar here. Right, but I wanted to go deep on this image real quick here because let's just scroll down for a second. And this, can probably be replicated in towns all over the world, all over the country. But people starting to get up and worry about trying to scroll this image down. It's like they want to just scroll it down a little bit, and then it scrolls down 4,000%, and that's just not helpful for anybody. I don't know who would ever want to scroll their images down 4,000%. But at least I got the bumper going. Wait, let's get back to Vinci here. So, right, as opposed to, yeah, it's good to be back, CJ. I appreciate your appreciation. That's how we feel better. Let's appreciate each other. Um, right. So these signs are popping up in this town, this particular town, but I'm sure they're showing up all over the place. Where you see the symbol, right? You see the. It's just like the signs that are there on the actual signposts, but this is obviously a person worried about a certain generation of wireless possibly having some bad effects, right? And here's some bad effects listed for you. That it's real bad, and that maybe you should call this lady. I mean, I say why not? Get something organized. I didn't mean to dox her, but I mean, she put these signs up. Whoever this person is, they're concerned, and it's sort of spilling out into the regular sphere. Moving past the not fringe. What do they call this? The lunatic fringe. The real edgy part of YouTube out here. It's moving past that into the more collective consciousness, and I mean, I guess I see that as a good thing. But right, we've been saying no to the good old fifth generation for quite some time, and now that it's spilling out into the streets, right? I just wonder where this is all headed, and I'm always sort of leaving everything on the table, whether something's a psyop or not. Maybe this whole 5G and it being really bad for you is part of the idea that, right? Because obviously it's big on the depopulation. It's definitely gonna kill all the children that are possibly inside of you, regardless of your sexuality. And so that's definitely like a factor there. I see them being happy about that, but maybe another factor is to create more division and mistrust and misunderstanding, because that just seems to be the agenda across the board. It seems to be working incredibly well as well. But right now there's this new dividing line that's going through people. Do you know what 5G is? Do you know how bad it is for you? Do you understand this on any meaningful level, right? And that causes division. If you don't, then you are on one side of the camp, and people that do are going to write you off. They're going to be like, "What are you saying?" Right? And it's just going to sow more division. I see this spilling out as I see it spilling out into the mainstream. I think it's worth discussing or talking about. And you may be wondering, like, why are you showing me a flower now? What is your even plan? And, right, part of that may be just randomness and disorganization. And another part of it could be a meaningful comparison, right? This is a plant. I mean, there's a bunch of plants in this picture, but this flower here, that's a poppy flower, right? And this is, I guess, the flower that has caused insane amounts of misery, especially in this more recent generation. This simple little flower has just been, what's up, Elish? Is it Elish or Elish? Elish. What's up? At any rate, right, the poppy flower. Misery for generations, for decades. This is why we're at war in the Middle East. At least one of the reasons. I mean, what's up with this flower? But here it is naturally occurring, and it's pretty. It's got that kind of opium look to it too. It's like it can't even lift up its petals enough to like be proper petals. They're like Naruto running petals. They're like hiding behind. But do you see what I'm saying? You know, things can be one thing and they can be another thing. In that picture, it's just a harmless flower, and or it could be the symbol for misery for a large portion of the human population. Here's just one I got. I got him in the act. I got it live action here for you, and it's a pretty thick stream. You know, I'm impressed. The consistency, the girth, the layering. You know, it's powerful. And when you really catch it in the act, it isn't surprising that this is what filters down throughout the day. That right there in the corner, you can see a little bit. And there I went again. Got the whole image, but you know, you know, you know the drill. Here's the clouds. Here's the flowers. Here's the trees. What does it all mean? I'm not really that sure. I'm not really sure of any of this, but it's like worth talking about, and yeah, all of those things. It's all on the table, guys. Trying to catch some small cells there in that picture, but they appear to be out of frame. Although, right, classic small cells down here. And I don't have any grand thesis here, for my depressing homeless pictures, but it's it's just something to see every time. I want to remind myself, and I guess people out there, what's really going down in reality, in a non-sanitized version, right? And even I guess that's a revolutionary act at this point, taking a covert image of this poor person, obviously having tough times, but also being able to charge this electric scooter. Is he like missing a leg? Looks like a leg is missing. And, does that relate or does that not relate to what's going on in our skies? Is confirmation bias, right? You can find comparisons, you can find copies of things where they aren't, and then you can also ignore grand correlations where they are. Both of those things are on the table. I did want to get a little bit into the news here. Yeah, right. I think it's perfectly natural. I wanted to bring you this image of the straws, right? This is just some fast food, some standard fast food experience here in California. But I want you to see where the straws are, right? There's the back behind the counter. You got the people getting the food. You got the people making the food, napkins and other sorts of supplies, and back here on this back shelf, that's where the straws are, right? Because that's not where they're convenient. That's not where you want them. That's not where you want them. Paige Robinson asks, where is Fake Truth from? And while I'd rather not admit exactly where I'm from, part of the story is that I'm from Los Angeles. and these are all sort of images from Los Angeles. But if you're not keeping score, if you're not following every single possible minute of my content, I am moving to Europe, and I will be back there in a matter of weeks. So I'm using this opportunity of being here in town, my hometown, to take some images and use the rather fast internet to bring you a live stream. Because right, Steam is stable. Steam is stable right now. I mean, and that's nice to have good internet because as I'm traveling, it can be difficult to get connectivity out here in the world. Right, but yeah, that's a good point, Alesh. You gotta keep these straws out of reach because this is the problem. This is what's killing our environment. It's not. Don't don't look directly around you at all the paper napkins and paper utensils and paper other throwaway plastic everything that's surrounding you. It's really just these guys. If only we could get a handle on our straw intake, right? You really just gotta. How many straws did you use today? It's probably too many, and you should feel bad about it, right? But I like to keep pointing it out because I think it is a grand symbol for this sort of misdirect or distortion of what's going on everywhere all the time, from our environment to politics or any of it. That, yeah, ignore the massive amounts of waste getting produced all around you. As long as you don't take that straw, then you saved a baby seal. If you took the straw, then you're a monster person, and I should maybe unfriend you or not let you come to my kid's birthday party or something. Um, yeah. Full disclosure: do not have a kid. Full disclosure: am a dude, as somebody else mentioned in the chat. um, or is it just
The voice changer. Is this my natural voice? Maybe this is my natural.
a voice? All right, I wanted to get a little bit into the news before this stream goes completely off the rails, but right, this is the kind of thing you see in Los Angeles. What a just beautiful collection of technology. And these things, these large arrays, I haven't actually been seeing in Europe very much. I've been seeing more of this, standard one or two, maybe four in a circle. This is definitely some next level stuff here in Los Angeles. Hard to even count how many small cells are there. It's hard to. Well, I guess you could physically count. Um, Now I want to run this. I want to run this video. You may think I'm being silly, right? Here was the time at the time, and here's the time in my car. That says 5:02. It says 5:02. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious, dude. You can go back to So and then you see the phone 3:30. It just turned 35. 3:35, but it's 5:02. What's up with that, right? And it's with all these things that I guess I'm trying to put a weird light on, and all the more pleasant if some people are also helping me, just question and think about these things. Right? I was gone not for that long. I wasn't gone that long. It was like a month, right? And let's just I changed the clock. I fixed I fixed it at this point. It is showing the correct time, and I guess. Right, just stay with me for 1 second, right? So if the real time was 3:34 at this time, my car clock is an hour and change off, right? It's not off by just an hour. It's off by and it's forward, like it's earlier. And right, I left my car just not running. It was sitting there for a couple weeks, and I guess right, I think that was my first idea that oh right, the car has just been off, and then so the clock got messed up or whatever. But the clock, I mean, unless I missed some sort of daylight savings, and I don't think we didn't just do daylight savings in the last month or two, did we? Not that I can remember. But that somehow within that, let's say 5 weeks, that this clock got this far off, right? And I noticed it when I was here driving the car day in day out that but some days it would be off by like a minute or two, maybe a little bit more. And the battery wasn't dead, none of those things. So how does a clock within a couple weeks get off this much, right? It's otherwise reliable. Once it's set, then it seems to be standardized, but right? You be the judge. You
You
be
be
the
the judge.
judge. Am I just being a silly person and tripping out, or is like time getting messed with, and somehow like analog clocks aren't hooked up into the servers and all of that, and so they're not updating directly, and that right? Maybe we did lose like an hour and a half off the day, and days are going shorter. Maybe it's not just my jet lag, Maybe there is some weird sort of disconnect happening with time. Maybe? I don't know. Think about it for a second. Just for a second, not for too long. Not for too long. So, just to, right, it's got to be aliens. Just to bring you a little bit of news here. Um, as the food shortages sort of continue and evolve here in our changing world, definitely expect to see a bunch more of these types of articles and sort of thought mind pushers, things that are trying to get you to change your ideas about stuff. You're going to be finding ways to use, and I was hoping to zoom it in, but I don't know if that's going to happen because I don't want to magnify my entire screen. But I guess I could switch my keyboard, just for kindness purposes here. Um, right. So this has been going around for quite some time. This sort of food waste, you know, pick up your bootstraps and maybe eat the part of the fruit or the thing that you didn't think you're right that you used to throw away, like potato skins or I don't know, giblets, and now you're gonna eat it, right? You're gonna like it, and so I guess now you're gonna be eating those cantaloupe seeds. You're missing the best part, right? And a lot of it's like this framing of the concepts, like, well, it's not that that thing was bad. Um, it's that people were just being dumb, and I guess a lot of people. This concept goes back for a ways because yeah, it's the same with potato skins. Other things that people have skinned has generally been the part that has more vitamins in it. I'm trying to think of what's the one. Oranges? No, you definitely want to not eat the orange peels. But there's some other fruit or things that it's like, you didn't really know this, but the good part is the part you've been throwing away. But what this really has a lot more to do with is the coming sort of food crisis that is impending. If you look into much of this stuff, then you will know that fact that it's indeed impending, and that right, cantaloupes might be a little more expensive or harder to come by in the coming future. For some reason, Salon put this picture in here masquerading as a video. It doesn't seem related, but I guess it is. Seedless watermelons. More division, more anger and frustration. You gotta try to see where this is always coming from. My filter is pretty high these days, especially when you're reading anything from a major publication. But if something's trying to get you to feel bad, something's trying to get you to feel bad, then you should just watch your back. You know what I mean? Like the straws. Although I guess what's going on up in the sky is something that you personally can't get blamed for because that's gonna, right? First of all, trails in the sky aren't real, and also we're not causing them. So I guess that's one thing you don't have to feel bad about. But feel bad for this guy, right? Look how sad he looks. And that's, I guess, the polarization that is continuing to go along. That right, more people are getting, I guess, annoyed with the obvious agenda, and then the other people on the other side are just diving even more into it and happy to go to bat for people they don't know or situations they don't really understand. And I honestly wish I knew more about the numbers because you see patterns but not really fully understand them, and that's what sort of draws you down these paths. I think seeing the tip of the iceberg and thinking, well, yeah, maybe numbers are divination. Divination is numbers, and there's a way to fight your way through this complex world with a greater level of understanding if you really understand the numbers and what they mean. Pink, 86, 3, and 3. Doesn't 86 mean that when you kill somebody, they get 86th? And this is obviously an important man, an important figure. He's acclaimed. And now he's dead. Right, and that's just interesting looking at it right now. Triple Oscar, triple BAFTA. But the point is the 33, right? We see the 3 and the 3. And that he was 86. There's obviously a bunch of other numbers in here. Some red herrings, these are just the likes. But it's interesting that the likes are set at triple sixes. And again, is that interesting? Am I just being a crazy person? Does any of this matter? I mean, I think some of it must matter. Otherwise, I wouldn't keep coming back to doing this YouTube channel because that nagging sensation keeps coming back. There's things have meaning.
Life has meaning.
And things seem to be programmed, on a good day, sort of sparingly, and on a bad day, or a good day, one of these days, you would. It feels like everything is just coded, like it's all part of some simulation. Like you can actually see the code poking out of the simulation. Right, they did a really good job with all the sensory and the memory and all everything that makes you feel like you're actually alive here. But that for some reason, if you look too closely at the numbers, that they start to show the seams of the simulation, the edges of it, almost as if any of that was even possible. But right, the implications of that being true were just sort of staggering and almost unacceptable. Right, but I think the more you look at this article, you will find more sort of clues and hints to the right. This guy was obviously read in, an important figure. I personally didn't know him. Seems like a nice guy in this picture. Could be a lizard person. It's hard to tell just from this picture alone. But right, I don't have the answers here. But right, Alish pointed out also here, 1988, we're seeing that number a lot these days. The infinity symbol that we're somehow right, and I think all of this ties together. Honestly, it has to in some degree. The my clock not working and infinity and Pink Panther, Roger Rabbit. You really do have to be careful in this community because you will start to feel like a crazy person, and it's also stuff you can't talk to the regular folks about these weird things, especially numbers. People think you're just a nonsense person as soon as you start saying stuff like, "Oh, well, there was triple sixes in the egg stain Epstein article, first article from that." That's just a coincidence. It's just coincidences layered on coincidences. So you might as well just ignore. But that sinking feeling always comes back, and I think when we that's why they're trying to stop communities like this so much, is that when we talk about it, when we form a community around these ideas and are able to tell each other like, nah, I get that feeling too, that none of the clouds are real, and that all of politics is a farce, and that one reason for news articles is to indoctrinate the masses and make them think silly things, but another reason is just some weird sort of global communication network and message board for some other sort of higher elite class of people that I guess we don't really talk to or know. Otherwise, we would probably, not be forming this community wondering because, yeah, if we knew, then we would just know. It wouldn't seem weird that there's numbers everywhere. That's just the news. That's how we communicate. And I'm gonna get back to some other things, but right, I think this story ties into this as well because it's the same topics over and over again, where something is told to you, it's shown that yeah, this is gonna be better. This is the new way. You're not gonna need straws anymore in the future because we have a new substitute for you. Something even better than a straw. Something even better than smoking. Something even better than all of it. And this is going to be the answer. Well, we got to watch out for the kids because the kids like to overdo stuff, and that's not so good. So we got to watch out for the kids. But at the same time, like, this is going to help you out, right? And we're just going to run ads nonstop. We're going to make tons of money off of this. Until maybe later it turns out that it was Agent Orange. And actually way, way worse for you than the thing that it was trying to replace. Because there must be a realization that, yeah, right, in this time, that people are going to search for stress relief, that they're going to look for something that's to relax them in this crazy world, right? And why is it crazy? It's crazy because they write all these crazy news articles, make everybody feel crazy. It's like everybody I talk to that's not in this sort of mildly more awake area, that's the first thing I hear about them is the news. Can you believe what's happening in the news? This world is just coming apart, it seems. And right, that's probably also true, but I always like to focus on the actual emotional state. The end effect is how your consciousness is affected by the crazy news. And so if that makes you crazy and less prone to, say, analyze or enjoy your life or just do anything properly, then, well, then that's a good effect, right? If your phone just starts making sounds while you're trying to do a live stream, maybe it's a sign, maybe just your phone is going off, and I don't know. People are trying to like get at you on Facebook, and it doesn't matter at all. And it like brought you out of your grand thesis that maybe you were right on the cusp of having some big idea, something truly meaningful come into your brain. Um, but then a Facebook message popped up, and you sort of lost your train of thought. Maybe that's all that went. So, right, obviously, no surprise that vaping is going to have some serious, sort of strange things happening, especially if you're mainlining that, like I know some people do, consuming much, much more nicotine than they ever could possibly consume through traditional means, right? And yeah, that's just another, I think, important symbol, because that's the thing, when you get some eyes, I think that help you understand what reality is. That no matter where you look, whether you're looking at your weird clock or you're looking at this random article on the news, that everything can sort of illuminate problems in other areas, or just how things are working. Not even problems, just the general mechanism of our reality, from the numbers to the fear porn. And then, if you can arm yourself with that, you have a stronger defense. You're able to get by somehow. I don't know. It makes things a little more palatable. So I am calling my own attention to the fact that it is 3:33, and that it may be time to mosey on into the next portion of my life. But it's just exciting, It's exciting to be alive. It's exciting to have, the prospect of people actually like processing the information that you're putting out there. That's exciting. Another exciting thing would be getting you some actual images here in this final portion as we head into the credits. But, you take what you can get, I guess. Let's take these random people just having lunch. It's going to be the outro, so we can get to know them. But, right, even though they're just a random group of people, you can learn a lot about human nature just by watching people when they don't think they're being watched.
Watching people when they don't think they're being watched. That's what's happening to all of us all the time. I think that's why the CIA and other government agencies know us so well, because they can see us. They got video of us when they don't think we're paying attention. Cause I think that's when you're really quite honest with yourself and, well, with others that are watching you. When you are oblivious to the fact of your observation, that's when you behave like what's in your heart. And I guess when we're just cruising the internet, when there's no video, but we're just clicking on things, that's like being alone. And that's, again, when people just do stuff that's just how they actually are when they click on stuff. When they click on stuff.
I appreciate that. Yeah, take it easy, quietly dying, and Aname, Paige Robinson. The rest of you guys, just take it easy, keep it real, and I'll be back. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna be honest. Take it.
Wait.
I'm just gonna hold on a second here. I just wanted to. Collective force. This is the nature of your reality.